Welcome to Poembyyas. Today's episode 26, and my topic is Picture Perfect. So each week I share a poem that I wrote, and today's poem is called Picture Perfect. And what is that? Sometimes we try to portray ourselves a certain way where everybody might like us, or we have a certain image, and that might not be the true reality. So that's why I wrote this poem. I also share interesting stories in the news or media, and the story I'm going to share today is about a mother. When she was 18 years old, she was pregnant, and she was giving birth to a baby that she was going to give for adoption. And this baby had Down syndrome. So stay tuned for that full story, because I like to give some inspiration, and this is a very inspirational story, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And another story that I have is about social media. A lot of people use Instagram. So there was another girl that was doing really good on Instagram, and people liked her pictures, but sometimes they criticize her and say she wasn't skinny enough. Sometimes people can just be mean. So Picture Perfect is when people try to adjust their pictures sometimes and make an image, and sometimes that's not the reality. She actually had an eating disorder, and when she started sharing stuff about her true life, things changed, and I want you to hear that story. But first, we'll start with my poem called Picture Perfect. Let's go to my poem. The picture-perfect view is what you perceive as perfect in front of you. People sometimes want things a certain way, but it doesn't always have to happen according to our plan. Take things one step at a time and look at things in a different light. Your perspective may begin to change, but it doesn't mean things will not go your way. Patience is a virtue, and if you plan and work hard, your picture-perfect view may come to you the way you perceive it to. For today's story, I'm going to tell you about Patty. When she was 18 years old, she got pregnant, and she found out that her baby had Down syndrome. She was going to give the baby for adoption, but the adoptive mother didn't want to take the baby when she found out that the baby had Down syndrome. But Patty, when she heard that news, she decided she wanted to keep that baby and give it a lot of love, because everybody's picture-perfect image can be different, and for her, the image of keeping that daughter with Down syndrome was picture perfect for her, because she was going to love the baby no matter what. And her daughter grew up, and when her daughter was in her 20s, she had a part-time job, and she lived away from home, and she had a boyfriend, and her boyfriend also had Down syndrome. The only thing Patty was worried about is if they were to get pregnant. But she was told by a friend of hers that was a physician that it was very unlikely to happen, because she was told that most likely men are sterile if they have Down syndrome. But this wasn't the case in this story, because she received a phone call from her daughter, and her daughter was so excited because she gave her the news that she was pregnant. So this is when they had a lot of backlash from some people in society saying that it wasn't good, but Patty loves her daughter and overseed the care when she gave birth to the baby. So she was in their lives, and she helped them out a lot. And when the baby grew up, the baby was 5 years old, the husband had an accident, so he was no longer in the picture. So it was just Patty, the mother, and her daughter, and the 5-year-old. So they lived together for many years, and now that son is in his 20s, and he just knows that he got so much love from that family, and that was a picture-perfect image for them. And society no longer gave opinion on it, but when they did get outside opinion, it wasn't very nice, and it didn't make them feel good. So it's good when we do picture perfect. You should try not to judge other people, because it's not good to judge, because everyone has their own image of what is perfect. As long as somebody gives love to a child and gives them a good home, I think that's picture perfect. My next story is about a girl that was using Instagram. She had a lot of followers, more than 100,000 followers, and sometimes people can criticize others and say that she wasn't skinny enough. She tried to post stuff to please other people, so she wasn't really being herself, but she was very consumed about what other people would say, and that can happen when you are always on social media. Then she took a break, and she took 3 months off, and she returned to social media, and she shared with people why she wasn't posting anymore. She did lose followers, but she was actually suffering from an eating disorder. She had bulimia, and she shared her journey. She started posting stuff related to health and how she got better, and she gained new followers, and she wasn't consumed anymore, because there needs to be a balance. You can spend some time on social media, sometimes with your friends, sometimes with your family. There should be a balanced life, because sometimes that perfect image that we try and make on social media is not the true image to make us feel like ourselves. I know it's getting really dark outside right now, but I hope you enjoyed this episode of Poembyyas. And next week my topic is going to be called animals. So I'll talk about different animals around the world and share an interesting story. So I hope you tune in next week when I share my poem.